In less than 2 months, a third leader of the Tories who faced the opposition lawmakers, the British Prime Minister, in the Parliament. After Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, now it is Rishi Sunak. The 42-year-old, who was officially appointed as Prime Minister on Tuesday, stares at a raucous parliamentary session today following weeks of political turmoil. Rishi Sunak's parliamentary debut as Prime Minister comes a day after he vowed to repair the damage wrought or brought about by outgoing leader Liz Truss through her mini-budget, which sparked economic trouble. At the House of Commons today, Sunak will battle Labour leader Keir Starmer and other opposition lawmakers who will undoubtedly seek to capitalise on weeks of chaos at the top of the government. The opposition is also likely to reiterate demands for a general election. Just a while ago, Rishi Sunak held his first cabinet meeting. From a cost of living crisis and possible budget cuts at home to division within the Conservative Party and to the war in Ukraine, Sunak faces a daunting array of problems. Just ahead of the Parliament session, Rishi Sunak has delayed the crunch budget plan. The Prime Minister's office says UK's crunch budget plan has been postponed till November 17th. The announcement of the plan to repair UK's public finances was due on October 31st. Sunak told his cabinet of ministers the government will delay a fiscal event until November 17th because it is important to get difficult decisions right and consult on all of them. At the top of the Sunak's agenda will be preparation for a fiscal statement, which is being keenly anticipated by financial markets. Addressing the divide within the Tories, Rishi Sunak also pledged to unite his fractured Conservatives and an increasingly unimpressed nation. While leaders from across the world are congratulating Sunak, he is unlikely to enjoy his political honeymoon, if any, because the list of issues waiting his tray is quite long, and his actions will closely be watched not just by the opposition, but also by the people of United Kingdom. And for more on this, our correspondent Alex Aizat is now joining us live from London. Hi Alex, the Prime Minister just held his first cabinet meeting and will be headed to the House of Commons for his PMQs. What can we expect from that? And I'm curious to know, has the Labour Party commented about Rishi Sunak and his new role?
Well, of course, the cabinet meeting today was the very first one of his full cabinet that was announced last night, and no doubt he was still talking about that unity that he keeps pushing hard for and about the economic situation that the country is in. Only a few minutes ago we heard that the statement we were expecting on October 31st has now been officially pushed back till November 17th, which will mean that we won't be able to hear about where the deficit of borrowing has got to the UK and where we're going to be finding that money from. But it's not all bad news with that fiscal statement moving backwards. It does seem that it's actually a little bit more positive at the moment. Sorry, it's tad windy here, because we were expecting the markets to not be as spooked, and they haven't been as spooked, which is great. So when we see this fiscal statement, it's just giving Rishi Sunak a little bit more time. It's a lot of money that we've been spending in the last 6 months, 30 to 40 billion pounds, and it shouldn't be rushed where he finds that black hole from. So that's something that he's going to be looking at and taking his time. And this is going to be a bigger autumn statement that we're going to see in November 17th, not just the remarks that we would have heard for the mid-term fiscal statement on the 31st. Now, when we head to PMQs later, Suella Braverman is going to be one of the questions that Labour has put forward. Why is she back in that role as Home Secretary? She was asked to resign because of her ministerial conduct. Now, the Tory party and the cabinet have said that she has apologised and they want to move past it because she's still on track to deliver a lot of those policies that weren't so popular, immigration and as such. But it seems that Rishi Sunak really wants her in power, but that will be a question that Labour will be hitting home. Why is she still there? What else is the cabinet hiding as well? And I think PMQs is going to be really tough. There's going to be so many questions for Rishi Sunak, and we'll see how he copes.
We'll see how it goes. Alex, you just mentioned there, apart from the Labour Party commenting about Suella Braverman, what are some of the reactions from Londoners on Rishi Sunak's pick for cabinet?
There seems to be a quite cross divide about whether they even want Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister or the choice that he's made with the cabinet. I think, though, generally that the people, the public, don't really mind or care so much about who's who and what position is what position, because ultimately that doesn't affect them on a day-to-day basis, because there's been so much change and so much turmoil in the last couple of months. They do just want to hear, what are we going to be seeing for the future? Is inflation going to be rising again? Are we going to see cuts to interest rates? What's going to happen? How's this going to affect me on a daily basis? We're seeing the cost of food, the basics, gone up past inflation rates here in the United Kingdom, and that is what people are really worried about, rather than the individuals that step into these roles or remain in the roles in the cabinet themselves. They want to trust somebody to go forward, and that's what's really is getting people talking at the moment, rather than the individuals that have taken seats within the cabinet.
Interesting times ahead. Our correspondent from London, Alex Aizad, thank you. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.